starvation, fear, abuse. These words are what Nellie Bly willingly surrounded herself in order to get the truth. Nellie Bly was an American journalist known for her investigative and covert reporting. She earned praise in 1887 after accepting a task from Joseph Pulitzer's New York World and went undercover at the Blackwell's Asylum, America's first state mental hospital. However, Nellie Bly's story doesn't start there. It goes back to May 5th, 1864, when Elizabeth Jane Cochran was born. Nellie Bly was born as Elizabeth Jane Cochran on May 5th, 1864, in the town of Cochran's Mills, Pennsylvania. The town was named for her father, Judge Michael Cochran. From the beginning, Elizabeth had a difficult life. Her father passed away when she was just 6. He left no will or money, leaving the family of 16 in hard times. In order to support her family, Elizabeth's mother, Mary Jane, was forced to remarry a very abusive man 3 years later. She then had to go through the process of divorce, leaving the family, again, with the barest of essentials. In 1885, when she was 18, Elizabeth read an article in the Pittsburgh Dispatch called "What Girls Are Good For." In the piece, writer Erasmus Wilson stated that women were best served in the home, conducting domestic duties such as raising children, cooking, and cleaning, and called the working woman a monstrosity. Bly was piqued, and it didn't take long for her to craft a fiery rebuttal. Bly's letter grabbed the attention of the Pittsburgh Dispatch managing editor, George Madden, who, amazed by her exquisite writing skills, offered her a job. She immediately accepted and was given the pen name Nellie Bly. The editors of the Pittsburgh Dispatch isolated her to the woman's page. Bly wrote her first story about the hardships of poor working girls. In her second, she called for the reform of the state's divorce laws. She then did a series about the factory girls of Pittsburgh. Bly felt as if she could do more and was able to convince the editors to let her be a foreign undercover reporter in Mexico. At only 21, she spent 6 months observing and reporting the lives and customs of the Mexican people. In one of her reports, she protested the imprisonment of a journalist who criticized the Mexican government. When the current Mexican president, Porfirio Diaz, learned of Bly's reports, he threatened her with arrest and forced her to leave the country. Safely home, she dubbed Diaz as a totalitarian ruler who suppressed the Mexican people by managing the press. Bly was confident and triumphant with her work, and even published her reports in a book called 6 Months in Mexico. But nevertheless, the editors again confined her to the woman's page. Bly had had enough. She wrote a note for Erasmus Wilson that clearly stated her plans. "Dear Quiet Observer, I'm off for New York. Look out for me, Bly." For the next 6 months, Bly knocked on every door of the New York papers. No one wanted a female journalist, but after 6 months of walking door to door, Bly's hard work paid off. On September 22nd, 1887, Nellie Bly convinced John Cockerill, managing editor of Joseph Pulitzer's New York World, to give her a shot. Immediately, Pulitzer, which was either a cold brush-off or a confident assessment, gave her an undercover report, Blackwell's Insane Asylum. They wanted to know what went on behind the barred doors and the smiles of the nurses covered in all white, and Nellie was determined to find out. The editor offered her no solid plan to get her out of the institution once her mission was completed, but promised her it would be accomplished somehow. Her instructions were simple. Write up things as you find them, good or bad. Give praise and blame as you think best, and the truth all the time. Nellie Bly had to get into the asylum, and the only way to do that was to be mentally insane. So starring as Nellie Brown, she practiced for her upcoming show. She practiced hours upon hours in the mirror, creating different faces and gestures. Therefore, in 1887, impersonating a mad person, she checked into a woman's boarding house. There, she refused to go to bed, telling the boarders that she was afraid of them and that they all looked crazy. They soon decided that she was crazy and called the police. After this, Bly pretended to have amnesia.
Several doctors then examined her. All declared her insane.
Positively demented,
Said one.
I consider it a hopeless case. She needs to be put where someone will take care of her.
The head of the insane pavilion at Bellevue Hospital pronounced her.
Undoubtedly insane.
Who is this insane girl? Asked the New York Sun. The New York Times wrote of the mysterious waif with a wild, haunted look in her eyes and her desperate cry, I can't remember, I can't remember. Asylum life, Nellie soon found out, was absolutely unsuitable. Mentally ill patients were fed rotten, inedible food, violently abused by brutal, uncaring staff, and misdiagnosed, mistreated, or generally ignored by the doctors and so-called mental health experts entrusted with their care. Accepting torture would produce insanity quicker than this treatment. Take a perfectly sane and healthy woman, shut her up, and make her sit from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on street backbenches. Do not allow her to talk or move during these hours. Give her no reading and let her know nothing of the world or its doings. Give her bad food and harsh treatment, and see how long it takes to make her insane. 2 months would make her a mental and physical wreck. The remembrance of that is enough to make me mad. For crying, the nurses beat me with a broom handle and jumped on me, injuring me internally so that I shall never get over it. Then they tied my hands and feet, and throwing a sheet over my head, twisted it tightly around my throat so I could not scream, and thrust me into a bathtub filled with cold water. They held me under until I gave up every hope and became senseless. At other times, they took hold of my ears and beat my head on the floor and against the wall. Then they pulled out my hair by the roots so that it will never grow in again.
The New York World rescued Bly 10 days later.
Her story, 10 Days in a Madhouse, appearing with miscellaneous illustrations, was published in the New York World.
Her story stirred the public and politicians, and together, they raised enough money to reform the institution. Not only was $1 million raised for their benefit, but mental health laws were established to ensure that no mentally ill being was to be abused again without the abuser getting penalized. Bly's fame opened the doors to many, including the famed suffragist Susan B. Anthony and the anarchist Emma Goldman.
Nellie Bly transformed the face of journalism. She pioneered investigative reporting. She looked behind the scenes. She found out all the facts, and then she shared them with the general public, and that created huge changes, social changes. Asylums were improved, orphanages were improved, prisoners got better care. The list goes on and on. So she made a huge, huge change in journalism for the better.
After her marriage to industrialist Robert Seaman in 1895, she became legally known as Elizabeth Jane Cochran Seaman. At this time, she retired from journalism and spent the rest of her years with her husband. Nellie Bly died on January 27, 1922, from pneumonia. Nellie Bly took a stand against society and did a man's job during a time before women even had the right to vote. Once labeled by newspapers as the pretty crazy girl, Nellie Bly had a career filled not with just normal days, but with experiences that changed the world.
Someone's gotta stand up and tell them what a girl is good for. We gotta speak up for the ones who've been told to shut up. Oh, Nellie, take us all around the world and break those rules, 'cause you're our girl. Oh, Nellie, take us all around the world with you. We wanna make something of ourselves too. Oh, Nellie, you show us just what you would do. Oh, Nellie, you show us just what